Hey guys, what's going on? It's Fry, obviously. But I was really stoked to see all the support and everything that I got from the Florb video. So I just want to say thank you. And I'm hoping to make more YouTube videos because it seems like there's an interest in that. So here's what's going on. The van all parked up in a decent little spot. Got a really good view of the mountains. And I'm gonna run you through and tell you the things that are most important to have in the van, at least for me, and also all the new stuff that I've done to it, because I've done a lot of upgrades since that video. So here she is. So a couple of new things that I have done are super noticeable when you first walk into the van, and my favorite two things being that I put in a little table with a chair. It's super slick, and honestly it's so nice to actually just have like a really good place to sit and do some work. And this chair actually fits into this back cabinet, which is new. But this table, you just slap these puppies and she goes down. It's super chill, but I just tend to leave it up most of the time. And the chair is super sweet. And the second thing would be this wall right here. This is just like another little privacy wall. And as you can see, I built in some shelves. I used some aspen pieces to do the shelf supports. And it just holds like random little things. Here soon I am gonna put a piece of metal over this just so that it's well protected from the wood stove, as well as some new wood stove pipe because it's starting to get a little old. So my girlfriend Jewel, she's a really good gardener, so I had her transplant some trees for my outside flower boxes, and they're looking great. A little blown by the wind, but not too bad. Some other things that I have done include ripping out the top bed to actually make this cabinet. So this whole thing used to be a bed. I'm not going to show you what's inside. Not that it's anything bad, but it's just like a good spot that I can like keep my my smoking canvas, hang my hat up, put a little coat rack there. Well, so like I was saying, and I thought that, maybe I could tell you guys a little bit more about my life and who I am and whatnot, like things that video didn't explain. Um, so, I'm Fry. My real name's Trey. My last name is Fry, but I've just always gone by Fry. Um, I'm 21 and I've been living in the van for about 4.5 years now. It's been one of the greatest decisions of my life. Growing up, my grandpa was a big hunter, homesteader in Wyoming, and I have these old, film photos of him on horseback, and it's just like a very inspiring way to live, especially with like technology today. So I'd like to show you some of my favorite and like coolest mementos that I have in the van. So I'm gonna start off with probably the weirdest thing that I have in this van. During my childhood, my sister's dad, he was a big hunter and he still is, and he shot a doe, and I thought that it would be cool to make a necklace out of the hoof bones, or something of the sort. And I was like 9 or 10 years old, and he gives me this. It's literally a deer leg, quarter of a deer leg. For some weird reason, this is like the lucky foot. Some people need a rabbit's foot. I need a deer foot. Another thing that I really love having in the van, and this is pretty new, is I actually made this journal. Thanks to a buddy of mine, Jacob. He made this paper and soaked it in coffee, and it turned out really cool, actually. But I'm not much of a reader or a writer, but I have been finding that I do like to write in it and keep a log of stories that'll happen. And I know that later on down the road this will be a really cool thing, because I am planning on buying a horse and trying to travel cross country on it. So I'm like very stoked to have this to be able to write everything in. My actual favorite thing in the van is I have two. I have a lot of favorites, or I'm bad at picking favorites. But so this is my 22. My grandpa gave it to me when I was 9 years old. It's a Savage Stevens, just single shot 22. And the whole point in him giving me this, aside from the fact that, he made me go to his house for 4 weekends straight to learn how to use it and be safe with it, was that if I can't take like any of the game that I'm looking to harvest with a single shot, then I should not be after that game. If my placement's not well enough, or if my placement's not good enough, essentially, I would just make the animal suffer, and that's the complete opposite of what I want to do. I want things to be over quick and fast, But, I only use this 22 for small game, so things like squirrels, jackrabbits, things within that spectrum, would probably never pull the trigger on anything larger than a jackrabbit or like a gopher with it. But it is a really cool old piece, and my grandpa actually made the stock for it, and it turned out super nice. But yeah, it's literally just like run-of-the-mill, very basic 4x32 scope, and it gets the job done, and that's all there really is to it. It just does what I need it to, and I don't try to make it do anything that it can't. A couple of my other favorite pieces that I have in the van, also given to me by my grandpa. So I have a Smith & Wesson Model 10.6 revolver. It's in 38 special. It's actually, I believe, to be like an old New York City police edition. It's very smooth, has no play in it. Especially once the hammer is locked, it's very solid. And most 38s came with a very skinny barrel. This one happens to have like a larger, heavy barrel. But it's still in 4-inch, so it's nice. So it's super easy to holster and carry around with me. Along with that, I have a small ammo belt. Realistically, only going to protect you from like mountain lions. It's just a pea shooter to like a grizzly bear or something in the similar. It's nice to have like an extra 12 bullets just on you, just in case. It's also really cool is the leather work done on it is super nice. It's old Hunter brand, and when I purchased it, it actually had a lot of, and it still has in it, these old Frontier 38 Special hollow points. Final thing is this Mamiya RB67. So I actually paid $5 for this while I was back home in Indiana, and it's somewhere close to like a $700 or $800 camera in perfect condition. But this one had been sitting in salt water all of its life, so literally nothing on it worked. But I do know how to work on cameras, and I have a set of tools for taking apart lenses or binoculars or anything that you can think of within the spectrum of photography. And so I took it apart, and I actually had 46 hours working on it, and I somehow wound up with a finished product that actually works, and it really takes great images. So I think just some of the most important things to pull from living in a van are that, you know, you're trying to be sustainable and not use a lot of like wasteful things. So I try not to use as much plastic as possible. So like even my thermos is like an old metal thermos with a cork top, and there's no plastic involved with it, not the lid, not anything. So like this is it. It's very old, but it works well. So I've got some wood split. I'm gonna start a fire. So a little bit of time has passed. I got a fire going, and the sun's about to go down. Pretty nice scene, if I do say so myself. It's not bad. See the mountains a little bit better. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna sit in this chair and enjoy it. Maybe make some potatoes.